Gillian, obviously we saw you not that long ago. I know things didn't go your way that night back in December. What can you tell us about that? What did you take out of that fight?
All my fights, I just try to keep on looking forward, keep on looking to the next one. So that's this opportunity right now, just to get back in the win column, get my hand raised again, and get this win streak started.
It seemed like kind of a frustrating fight for you at the moment. I mean, was it a frustrating fight overall?
I guess so. A big part of the fight was obviously that cut on my nose. I had blood in my eyes through the whole fight. That's a new experience for me. That was the first time I've ever been cut, so I couldn't see through the whole fight. Obviously, Tyla's very strong. She was able to hold me a lot, and I don't think she necessarily got off a lot offensively, so that was definitely a frustrating part for me.
Yeah. And then you're in a grappling bout like a week later, right? I mean, so tell me about that. I mean, was there any part about you that like didn't want to do it and kind of wanted to let the nose heal, or was it like competitive? You had to get in there and do something?
Submission Underground texted me and they offered me the match against Pearl Gonzalez, and I thought that's obviously a huge opportunity. She's a UFC vet. I was really excited to do that. I messaged the UFC and asked them what I should do about the stitches. They're like, you can take the stitches out after 10 days, but wait 21 days before any contact, any live grappling or anything. And I was like, 11 days is close enough. So I ended up taking the grappling match, and in the first 30 seconds, it turns out the doctor was right because my nose split back open. And just went back, put a little bit of super glue on it, and was ready to go again that right after.
Did you take the stitches out yourself?
Yeah, I did.
Wow, crazy. All right. And now here you are. It's like 2 months after your last fight. So was it important for you to get back into the cage quickly, or did this fight just come? How did this come together?
Oh, yeah, it's definitely important for me to get back in the cage quickly, especially after my last loss against Macy. I think I had to wait 8 months before I got back in. So now to be able to get a quick turnaround like this, it just means the world to me.
Nice. And what can you do? Because we hear a lot about like people getting better when they don't have fights booked, because they can just train on whatever. I mean, what do you think? Do you wish you had more time to kind of like improve skills between, or do you just like fighting as often as possible?
No, I'm always getting better every single day. This is my craft. This is my life. I don't take time off. I don't have days off even. I work every single day, either 2 to 3 times a day. Even on Sundays, I'm usually doing at least one. I don't take rest days. So every single day I'm getting better. So it's not a worry for me that I'm not going to get better in between fights. These are just tests. These are the milestones where I'm going to see where I'm at. And obviously the goal is to be the best in the world. So this is just another test to get there.
The matchup with Miranda, was she somebody? I mean, she's new to the organization. Was she somebody that you had watched during her time in Invicta, or did you know anything about her?
I watched a couple of her fights in Invicta. I vaguely remember them, but I've actually met her on the grappling scene. Just because both of us are very active, we're both down to compete, and we're both gamers. So we met each other a couple times on the grappling scenes. We've never had a chance to grapple each other, but we actually took a picture about a year ago together.
Wow. So what do you think about her game? I mean, you said, does she do anything, special, anything unique? I mean, what do you think about her overall?
I think she's fairly well-rounded. Obviously, her last fight displayed her Muay Thai very well. She was able to get that nice elbow off, but I think it's a favorable matchup for me, especially on the ground. I don't think she has my level of jiu-jitsu or the capability to hang with me down there.
Last thing for me, I mean, you're still so young in your career, right? But you've shown a lot of potential and a lot of promise, but consistency has been tough, right? To just get the results. So what do you think the key is to kind of, clearing that hurdle and getting the consistent results every time?
I almost think that it's like I got into the UFC a little bit too young in my career, where now it's like all these girls are huge tests. I only had 5 fights coming into the UFC. So now I feel like every time I've been given that big obstacle, that big test, I haven't been able to live up to it. I haven't been able to live up to that third win in a row. I haven't been able to get that. So hopefully just with the adjustments that Dean and I have made in this last year, we'll be able to get that, be able to accumulate those 3 wins.
Hey there. You mentioned something interesting about you think you got into the UFC too early. Do you think there's something to be said that fighters should have more amateur fights before they start turning pro and just get a bit more experience before they get to the bigger leagues?
I definitely think experience is the biggest part, and even just competition experience in general. I never played a sport in my life before I started training, so to be able to go out in front of a crowd and perform and be comfortable there is probably the biggest aspect of it for me.
You mentioned last time that it was the first time you'd been cut in a fight. Is that, we hear fighters sometimes say they take lessons from their defeats, right? Is that a lesson you now know that, I know what it's like to have blood on me while I'm competing?
I guess it's definitely a lesson. I remember looking up at the lights in between the second round, and it was just 100% blur. You could just hardly see the bright lights right above you, and it's a new obstacle to deal with in a fight. It's something that I've never had to deal with before, so hopefully it doesn't happen again.
Is that a unique sort of frustration where you can't see but you're not really like in massive amounts of pain. You're just like, this is annoying. I can't see, so I can't compete at my best. Is it like a unique sense of frustration?
Oh, everything in there is frustration after that point. I don't know. It's a different world once you're in the cage. Like, even when I got cut, she hit me with a strike, and I thought to myself, okay, that one hurt, but I didn't think I got cut. And then it was like last 10 seconds, the bell rang. I stood up, and I see a drop of blood run down my nose. I was like, oh, fuck. But I really had, like, you don't feel anything. It's a different world in there.
And you mentioned in your very first answer you gave that you were looking forward to getting this win streak started. Is that the mentality that it's just brick by brick, we're going to build and get you back on this win streak towards the top?
Well, yeah, I know I'm going to be a world champion one day, so it's just finding the right path to get there. So far, we've had a little bit bumps in the road, but no matter what, we're getting back on track, and we're back. It's the same course.
Just get the bumps out early. Just get them over.
Exactly.
Good luck.
Gillian over here. Everyone always talks about how young you are in your career. One of the things I noticed watching the Din Diaries, you talked about what makes him different as a coach. He doesn't just teach what his coach taught him. He's trying to be innovative and learn. You seem very inspired when I see those videos of you and him. Is that something you see for yourself later in your career, possibly being a coach and being one of those minds in the fight game?
Oh, I would love to be considered even close to the way that Dean is in the fight game. I feel like he's a legend, he's a veteran, and the way he thinks about the sport is different than anybody else. And obviously, it's been noticed. He's been getting opportunities like hanging out with Dana White and things like that because he is just such a great mind in the sport, and it would be honor for people to consider me to be like that.
Can you talk a little bit about something you've noticed him do when he's like teaching something or learning something that just other coaches may not have that you've worked with?
A lot of coaches, it's either their way or it's wrong. With Dean, he's like, if it works, it's right. This is an evolving game. It's only like 25 years old as a sport, so everybody's learning it together still. It's still changing every single day, so some things work, some things don't, but if it works for you, it works.
Have you talked to him about getting brought along for some Dana White looking for a fight episodes?
I haven't talked to him about that, but maybe that'll be an opportunity in the future.
Thank you.